My name's Sharon Hensby. I'm from the Careers and Employment Service, and I'm here with Brooke Harris-Reeves, Program Director of the Bachelor of Sport Development. Brooke, can you tell us a bit about your program?
Yeah, I'm fortunate enough to be the Program Director of this new and exciting program that's only started here at Griffith in 2015. It's only one of two programs, in bachelor's programs across Australia, so we're fortunate to have one here at Griffith University. In a nutshell, sport development is about attracting, retaining and nurturing sport participants across the community. So it starts from working with grassroots athletes to elite athletes, but also working with individuals at the community level to get people active and healthy. So there's sort of a range of contexts that professionals can work in. Generally, the curriculum across the program focuses on things like health promotion, sport coaching, sport and exercise science, and then you've got the sport marketing and management and that sort of area.
So it would lead to quite diverse
career
outcomes.
Sure. So sport development is a relatively new profession here in Australia. It's very well established in the UK, and we're sort of following suit here in Australia. So it's a new and emerging profession.
You've been really active in embedding the employability framework in your program. Could you tell me a bit about why you've chosen to do that?
Yeah, sure. When I first heard about the employability framework, I thought it was really important to embed it throughout the program. Gaining employment is getting harder and harder for our graduates. And so I believe it's up to us as academics and professional staff at Griffith University to develop students' employability skills. So that's not just about getting students to understand the curriculum in their profession. It takes it one step further, and it's about developing their employability skills as well. So it's merging the two sides of things.
So how have you embedded the employability framework in your program?
I thought it was really important to have an emphasis throughout the whole 3-year program, not to just stop it and start it at certain points. So it's embedded throughout every semester of the 3-year program. And the objective of that is to ensure graduates of sport development are employment ready. And what that looks like is that includes lots of work placement and focus on developing a career plan, putting together their e-portfolio, their CV. They also do practice exercises where they have to apply for specific jobs, so put together their selection criteria. So in a nutshell, as soon as they leave the 4 walls of this university, they're ready to apply for any job position that they hope to pursue in their career. So it's a strong focus, as I said, throughout the program. As they transition in, it's about developing their professional identity, and then they're transitioning through, it's about industry networks and furthering that identity, and then as they transition out, getting their career plan and their post-graduation career plan set in place.
So can you tell me about how you've approached first year?
Yeah, so as I mentioned earlier, there's a strong emphasis throughout the program, but specifically in the first year, I think it's important to develop students' sense of purpose right from the word go, and I found that that's had a huge impact on retention. So from the first semester, what the students have to do is they have to develop a career plan. And what that looks like is students have to find 2 specific job advertisements within the sport development profession. One general sort of sport development job, and then one maybe a little bit diverse, maybe offered overseas and that sort of thing. Once they've found the 2 job advertisements, they have to really unpack those advertisements and identify the essential skills that the employer wants, any desirable skills, and then also any additional skills that the students believe that would make them more employable in that specific job context. Then the task they have to do is identify whether they hold those skills already, whether they will actually gain it throughout the Bachelor of Sport Development, so they're provided with a document with all the learning objectives for each course throughout the program. And then they have to identify whether or not they can obtain those skills and attributes through extracurricular activities such as volunteering and those sorts of things. From that, the extracurricular activities, they're encouraged to develop a 3-year timeline. So basically a timeline of goals that they're going to achieve over the 3 years whilst they are studying at Griffith University, so that once they graduate with a Bachelor of Sport Development, they don't only have the piece of paper that says sport development, they've also got a number of different skills, volunteering experiences, other additional certificates and qualifications that they can add to their CV. And as I said before, they're employment ready then. They can start searching for jobs.
That's brilliant. And you mentioned information interviews. How does that fit in for your students?
So in second semester, the students are required to do 10 hours of observational work placement. And what that looks like is the students have to put together a letter, which is similar to a cover letter that they put together for a job, and they have to seek their own work placement. So they have to approach the organisations with the cover letter and seeking the 10 hours of observation. Once they've completed their 10 hours of field placement, they have to put together and conduct an informational interview with the mentor in the organisation. So that means they ask their mentors things like, what's it like on an everyday basis working in this profession? What are the good parts? What are the bad parts? What is the career path to progressing towards this position? And then from there, they put together a reflective journal in the form of a poster that's entitled What It Means to Be a Sport Development Professional. I found that not only was that work placement highly informative for the students to get to know more about the daily goings-on in the profession, a lot of my students have also gained part-time employment from that experience. So that's really great, and also developing their industry networks.
That's brilliant.
Excellent.
So how have your students reacted to this?
From the unofficial and official feedback that I've obtained from the students, they've been extremely positive, talking about how it's enabled them to get a real sense of purpose, where they're going in their career, especially the task where it got them to look at specific jobs that they will be applying for in 3 years' time. They said it really engaged them in the process and made them realise additional things that they need to be doing while studying, so that they can increase their chance of employability along the way, so that once they've graduated, they can have all of these other skills and attributes against their name as well, not just a Bachelor of Sport Development, which is wonderful in itself. But if they've got additional certificates, coaching certificates, accreditations and experience, that makes them a lot more desirable as far as an employer is concerned.
So the students are really recognising that value.
Absolutely.
What has the data been like in your student evaluation of teaching responses?
Really good. As I said, the students have reacted really positively to it. In fact, I was asked to speak at a learning and teaching retreat, and I wanted to gain some feedback from students. So I shot out an email to them saying, hey, can you just send back a sentence about what you think about this employability approach that we've been taking throughout the course. And within 15 minutes, I had about 25 students responding, saying how they've really embraced it and how they think it's really important, and it's given them a sense of career focus, and that they think that, it's not such a long way away to actually graduating. They can see that the worth of all the courses in the program as well, and the skills that they're gaining from each of those courses, and the relevance to them and the importance of them. So it's enabled them to really develop their idea and their motivation for the future, but also gain an understanding of, okay, I'm sitting in this course, these are the skills I can transfer into my future profession.
We sometimes hear concerns from academic staff saying that the curriculum's already overcrowded and employability should really be an extracurricular focus rather than within the curricula. What's your view on that, Brooke?
Both the tertiary sector and employment industry is becoming extremely competitive. As a university, I think it's extremely important that we move with those changing times. And what that should look like is having an employment focus. So I believe that my colleagues should not necessarily see in the development of employability skills as something separate to the curriculum taught, and instead see it as an opportunity to make links between the curriculum that's taught and the relevance to the industry or the profession. So what that looks like is it could be, as I said, making connections and then developing authentic assessment tasks where the students can not only develop and display their depth of understanding around the content in the specific course, but also merge the two by developing their employability skills as well. So that could look like something like getting them to reflect on how the specific content could be used in their future profession and just add it into their e-portfolio. So it's as simple as that.
Yeah, so it's not an either or, it's really doing both for greater benefits, both for their learning and for the students' employability.
Yeah, so not seen as a separate thing. Okay, we need to allocate 5% or 10%. It can be merged, and this Bachelor of Sport Development is a really good example of that, where it's integrated throughout in each of the courses throughout the 3 years. So I believe this will give the students the opportunity to make real connections between what they're being taught inside these four walls and how that's going to be carried through into their professional career.